Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome again to Live with Luce, your agent Luce. I got a little ahead of myself there. Sometimes I have like this dyslexia where I think ahead and I say the words before the other one. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But good afternoon and welcome to Live with your agent Luce, Wednesdays at noon in English and in Espanol, Thursdays at noon. So today is Wednesday, so that's why I'm here. Hope you guys are having a great lunch. Go ahead and let us know you're here, and you can let us know what you're having for lunch. I hope it's something really good. Um, so we're always here, keeping you informed with the latest real estate information. My name is Luz Baez. I am a realtor here in the Richmond, Virginia, and always here to help you guys with any of your real estate needs. So today, last week we did, what did we do? We did the fundamentals, some real estate terminology. When you're gonna buy a house or property, there's a lot of words that fly out there. They're always being used, and sometimes they can be very overwhelming. Sometimes it can be very confusing, and so we're kind of going over that um, between last week and today. So if you didn't check out last week's broadcast, definitely go back to that so you can get the information on the first part. Today we're doing part two of the real estate terminology. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So hello, if anyone is joining us. Um, and so we're gonna go ahead and get started with our terminology for today. Sorry, that's my child walking in. Guys, can you go over there, please? This is what happens when you go live. So, all right. We're gonna start today with the word escrow. So last week I went over the word earnest money deposit. Look at you. I mean, Javi, you want to say hi? That's right. Okay. Can you go over there, please? Can you go over there with Daddy? You want to stay here with Mommy while I tell people about real estate? Huh? You want Super Wings? Okay, you can watch Super Wings. Here, take this, go over there and watch Super Wings. Sorry about that. This is what happens when you're at home and here goes Belanice. Belanice, you want to say hello to our people that are watching us live right now? No? Okay, so that's my family. Those are my two little ones. The other one's in school right now. So, all right. So back to what we were talking about. We're gonna get started today with the word escrow. So escrow is a term that has multiple meanings. Actually, earnest money is typically held by a third party until closing in escrow. It can also be referred to as the time period from when the contract is written and accepted by the seller to when the home sale closes. So usually when the earnest money deposit is collected, it goes into an escrow account kind of for hold. So same thing you'll see sometimes on a monthly basis. There is some money that's collected for escrow, and that money kind of pays for the insurance that's part of your mortgage payment. So you can always put extra money in escrow to cover all the additional expenses that come with the monthly payment. Usually it's the same, but sometimes depending on what mortgage insurance you use, if it goes up the next year, if the property taxes go up, then you'll need more money in escrow. Your monthly payment will not change unless you cannot provide that as money in an escrow. So escrow pretty much is another term for holding money that goes into a holding account for a purpose, and it's just a time. Okay, so the next word we're going to go into is equity. And so we talked a little about equity. Um, we talked a little bit about equity in our first video, and equity is the difference in the market value of a home versus what is owed on the home. So when you buy a home, 9 times out of 10, after a while, it builds equity, which means that if you bought it for 100,000, it may be worth maybe throughout the year it'll go up a couple thousand more and a couple thousand. So the longer you stay in the home, the more equity you have build up in the home, which means you can sell it for more than what you bought it for, or you can also take out, which is our next term, a home equity line of credit. So home equity line of credit is a loan or line of credit that is determined based on the equity of home's value after subtracting the loan owed. So equity again means that money that a home equity line of credit is a line of credit that you can use. You can do using the equity of your home. So how much your home has gone up, that amount, you can use that. And a lot of people use the home line, home equity. I always want to say home line equity. No, it's a home, home equity line of credit. You can use that to further improve your home. Either build an extra bathroom, and maybe some people use it, for home improvements. So, for your kitchen, anything that will also for build even more equity. Usually, that's what the home equity line of credit is used for. If you use it, if you watched our tax program with our tax professional, if you are using your home equity line of credit to do home improvements, you can actually deduct some of that from your taxes. If you are not using it for those purposes, then you may not. As far as I understand, talk to your tax professional to confirm that information. But when he was here, that's what he cleared for us. So when you take out a home equity line of credit, it can be deducted if used for some home improvements, depending on what the home improvements are. Okay, so let's go to what is a counteroffer. So that's almost self-explanatory, right? The response from the seller regarding an offer. So when you like a house, you put in an offer, and sometimes the seller will come back with a counteroffer if they want to. They like your offer, but they want to add some changes to it. They can come back with a counter offer. In today's market, we have a situation where we have multiple offers on the table. Usually, the seller will go with the best offer. So counter offers are not seen as much as they were in the past, but they are still seen. So it's always good to keep our hopes up. So if you see a counter offer, the seller is coming back and saying, well, I kind of like it, but maybe, can we change this? And then it's up to the buyer to kind of make that decision from there, yay or nay. Okay, so we talked about counter offer, we talked about escrow, we talked about equity, we talked about home equity line of credit. Let's talk about the home protection plan, home warranty, an annual service that covers the cost of repairs or replacements of items covered in the plan. Items like stoves, washer, and dryers. So, when you buy a home, it's good to keep in mind to have a home protection plan in case your stove or your washer or something, your appliances go out. This home protection plan will cover those services, cover those repairs. Sometimes it can get very expensive. up to fix those or to replace them. So having a home protection plan to do that will, can help in the future. So, that's something to also think about when you buy a home, whether you want to get a home protection plan or not. So some people don't, but, they end up either having to fix it. I mean, if you're handy, hey, but, you have stuff also like your AC units, stuff that could cost you a couple $1,000s if if you had to just do it yourself. So, having a home protection plan is a good idea. Okay, so let's talk about. Last week we talked about the closing and the closing cost. So another thing involved with closing is the closing disclosure, and this is what you will get from the lender. And it's a form that provides the final details about the mortgage loan. In it includes the loan terms, projected month, the I'm sorry, the loan terms, the projected monthly payments, and how much the extra fees will be. So this has all of the details about the closing and what you'll be paying monthly and all that fun stuff. And then that's the closing disclosure that's given to you when at closing, or when closing is actually, it's supposed to give it to you a few days before closing so you can look at it. All right, so then we have next the commission. And so this one, I get a lot of questions about, well, how much do you charge for commission? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. It's a percent of the sales price of the home that is paid to agents. The seller pays the commission to both buyer and the listing agent. I'll say that again. The seller pays the commission both to the buyer and the listing agent. So I don't get my commission from the buyer. My commission comes from what the seller is offering to pay for an agent to bring a buyer to them. The same thing with the listing agent; they get their commission from the seller, which that's usually kind of like a no-brainer. But a lot of people ask regarding the buyer, like, okay, well, how much is your commission? And the answer is dun, 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 the seller pays the commission for both the buyer agent and the listing agent. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about comparables. What is a comparable? So you've seen, well, I'll get to that in a minute. Homes in the area of interest that have recently sold that have similar features. So with that said, a few posts of mine have been talking about with regarding keeping current matters, up to date information about selling your home. It's a good time to sell. The spring is coming, right? And we know that a lot of people make moves in the spring and summertime, with schools and jobs and the weather. Let's be real for a second. I mean, it's just nicer to move in warm weather than be moving in the bitter cold, I mean, we've done it, and it's definitely, I mean, if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. But most people would rather, move in the spring and summer. And so homes tend to come to play and to sell more during those times. So when you're selling your home, a real estate professional, real estate agent, realtor will of your choice will come and do some comparables and kind of compare your home with similar features to other homes that have been recently sold within, maybe a mile of your home. And so then that's how they come to the conclusion of, you along with the agent will come to kind of a conclusion of how much you would sell your home based on these comparables. A lot of times we think, oh, our home is worth this much because the tax records say it. But, not necessarily is that the case when you compare it with other homes in the area. They may have an extra bathroom or extra garage, or not have a bathroom or not have an extra garage or have a pool. If you had these, well, how much would you sell this? And everything has a price and how much it would go up and how much it would go down based on what the agent is comparing it to. So that is, you know, that is a very important analysis to take in consideration when you're selling your home. Because if you sell your home for too much, thinking, oh, I'm gonna, I just want top dollar for it, and the tax assessment says it's worth, 400,000. I'm gonna sell it for, 415, and then you're not having any buyers. You really want to sell your home really what's in a comparable amount, because also when it gets appraised, if it's not appraised at the proper value, then you're also going to have an issue there to deal with. So it's always good to really take those comparables seriously, and really do the comparisons and list your home at a very the best that you can, based on those, because you want to sell your home and you don't want to put it up too high and then not be able to sell it because you know it's selling for 450 and everything else around your neighborhood sold for 350. So just being real. That's just how it is. So we move on. Okay. So let's talk about the word contingencies. Contingency. That's a word that you'll hear a lot also during the process of real estate transactions. And what is a contingency or contingencies is conditions which must be met in order to close. Contingencies are typically tied to a date, referred to as a deadline. If the contingency is not satisfied, the contract may be canceled. So this is something that is set by the buyer and the seller as far as the conditions in which are need to be met by a specific deadline before the closing. If they are not met, if those contingencies are not met, then there is a chance that the transaction may be canceled, and so that obviously it's not fun. So if you have any questions about these terms that I'm sharing with you, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll hit you back on the comments. Feel free to send me a message as well. You know what I mean? Like I said before, I love teaching and I love training. Teaching you can't really train, but teaching and sharing with others the information that I have. And so, if you have any questions, definitely feel free. We want you to make proper decisions, and we want you to have all the information clear in front of you so that you can make those proper decisions as well. So, let's talk a little bit about the principal. You'll hear this term when you have your mortgage. This is part of your mortgage payment. So the underlying amount of the loan, which is actually borrowed. So this is the principal amount, is the amount that's borrowed, not including the interest rate. Okay, so obviously, you borrow $100,000. You add that interest rate monthly. It's going to be a little bit. Your payment is going to include that interest rate. But if you want to pay down your loan faster, then you can send extra money and apply that money straight to the principal, which is $100,000. With the 3% monthly, 3% APR, I'm sorry, yearly percentage, it's what you're paying with that together, but the principal is just part of the $100,000. So if, like I said, if you want to pay it, a little trick, if you want to pay your loan faster, then you pay your monthly payment, and you could pay a little bit extra and add that to your principal. Property taxes. Ugh. Who likes property taxes? I don't like them. Do you like them? I don't like them. Well, property taxes are just that. These are taxes that are enforced by the city, town, or county, state government. These taxes are included in the total monthly mortgage payment and are held in escrow by the lender. So that word again, escrow, we talked a little bit about that, where these taxes are held. But it is included in your monthly payment for your mortgage or taxes, um, and that principal amount and the insurance as well. So let's talk about REO. You may come across this term, you may not come across this term. What does it mean? It says real estate owned properties or foreclosed properties currently owned by a financial institution such as a bank that made the loan to the previous owner. So REO properties pretty much, are foreclosed properties or properties that are owned by the bank, that are not owned by a individual. So you're when you buy it, it's a little bit extra. Let's just say red tape there, and it's you're buying it from the bank. You're not buying it from an actual individual, um, or you're getting it from a financial institution. Talking about REO, let's also talk about short sales. What is a short sale? So, a short sale is a situation when the seller's lender is willing to accept an offer and allows the sale to be completed for an amount less than the mortgage amount owed by the seller. So, this is when the seller has to sell, now, and so they're selling it for they sell the house, um, you know, whether well they're short selling it, which means the lender will accept is will accept an offer, um, and allows the sale to be completed in an amount less than the mortgage amount. So it's a quick sale. Let's just say that. Okay, so we talked a little bit about FHA loans last week. I don't remember, and we looked through our stuff that we covered VA loans, um, but wanted to cover that today. So VA loans, if you are a veteran, you qualify for a VA loan, and these are loans that are given to Americans who have served in the armed forces. They are administered by the Department of Veterans Affairs, and they guarantee the loan, and they are 0% down payment. So they guarantee a certain percentage of the loan. That's how that works. And we are going to have a uh, VA loan specialist come on with us in the next few weeks to discuss further VA loans. We're also going to have another specialist come and discuss VHDA loans, and another lender talk about FHA loans. So if you have any questions regarding any of those loans, definitely hit me up on comments or on Messenger, and we can get those questions answered for you when we have um, our special guest come and talk to us about that. Okay. So I think that I have covered what we have been missing. Am I missing any more, honey? I think I got everything. I wanted to talk a little bit about mortgage note. And I believe that I covered this one last week, but a promise to pay the sum of the money of standard interest rate during a specific term that is secured by a mortgage. A promise to pay a sum of money at a standard interest rate during the specific term that is secured by a mortgage. So again, we hear interest rates, interest rates, interest rates. And so I wanted to share with you how that works if you are not familiar with that, and I also don't want you to kind of like not be too scared, quick story. When we bought our home in 2006, in the 2000s, the mortgage interest rates were between 6 and 8%, and the best interest rate that you could that you can get really with the best credit was a 6.0. It was a very high interest rate when you compare it to today's interest rate, really. And even looking at the 4% interest rate that we're looking at today, it will be slightly creeping up. At least that's what they're projecting. But there is a lot of kind of instability. So one day they say they're going up, one day they say they're staying the same. They're trying to manage that, but most likely they will be going up as they try to fight with, inflation and all of that. And so also don't want you to be too scared because, like I said, even though it's still higher than what it was in 2020, um, it's still lower than what it was in 2006, 2000 time frame. And so how does that work? So the obviously, the interest rates play a big role in your mortgage payment, right? So if it gives you more buying power, so the lower the interest rate that you're paying on the amount that you are that you're asking for, that you are borrowing, the lower the interest rate, then the lower the payment, the more buying power you have. You can buy a house because buy a house that's 250 with a lower interest rate, 2.3, and pay maybe what I was paying in 2006 at a 1.6. Our house was like 160,000, and my interest rate was 6, and my mortgage payment was what, honey? 1,200. Yeah, and it was about 1,200. Almost banking 13. I mean, right now our home is way more than that, and we pay just a little bit over that with an interest rate of 2.5. So going to an interest rate of 4 is still better than 6. But as they go up, if you are thinking of buying a home, our recommendation is, try to do it before the interest rates go up. But keep in mind as well that, if you can't, then, they're still better than what they were before in a long time. So, it kind of balances out really. The market is always really balanced in a way when you compare it. But the interest rates will be going up. So just keep that in mind. Just want to keep it real with you. I'm not here to, necessarily just get you to buy a house. If you're thinking of buying a home, of course, give me a call and we can chat a little bit more of how we can make that happen for you. But this is not a pitch to, this pitch to take care of you. To do, it's more like keeping you updated with everything that's going on. So, if nobody has any more questions, then, oh, you know what? I forgot to share it on my page. It's okay. I'll share it later. But all right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me today on our live. Hope you guys have a great week. Tomorrow we will be here in Espanol noon. So check in with us and share with your friends and with your family. And if you have any questions or looking for a real estate agent, then call your agent Luz at 804-964-4458, or you can reach me at luz.baez@exprealty.com or luztbaez04@gmail.com. I am in the Richmond area, but if you are anywhere else in the United States or in Puerto Rico or in anywhere of the world watching this and you need to get contacted with a real estate agent, definitely give me a call and we'll love to chat with you if you're planning on buying or selling. Love to chat with you as well. So I will talk to you guys next week. You guys have a great week. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you. Take care, and we will chat later. Bye. I forgot to share on my page. Well, Lucas, how do you have my phone? How was that?